Hello again. We are now moving on to level 3. We're on page 89. This is Unit 9, Skill 3, Level 3, um, focusing on trinomials yet again. However, notice that instead of just x squared, like we did in the previous level, now we have an a value here that'll be something besides 1. Like you see all these trinomials on this page have a coefficient besides just a single 1 there. Okay, and so I'm actually going to try to squeeze in some of my examples because there's only 6 questions here and I want you guys to actually do these 6 on your own. So I'm going to create a couple of other ones here and just kind of go through the method. So essentially, we call this split the middle or splitting the middle. And what it means is that this middle term is going to get split into 2 terms, and then you're going to end up factoring by grouping. Okay, and so I'll show you how that's going to work. Sometimes this is also referred to as the AC method because that's actually the first step. The first step is you take A times C. Okay, and so let me just do a quick example here. Let's say we have 4x squared. And let's do minus 8x minus 5. All right, so let's start with that. And so I'll kind of highlight the main steps. So first, you're going to take the a value times the c value. So figure out what's 4 times negative 5. Well, 4 times negative 5, that's negative 20. Okay. Second, you're going to try to figure out what multiplies to negative 20 and adds to negative 8. So it's kind of like that numbers game or the skill that we worked on for regular trinomials with the added step of you take 4 times negative 5 first, we get negative 20. And so now if I'm thinking about what multiplies to negative 20 and adds to negative 8, here are my options. I can do 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, and that's it. And if it multiplies to negative 20, that means that in these 3 pairs, one of the numbers has to be negative, and if it adds up to negative 8, the bigger one, in this case negative 10, is going to have to be negative. Okay, so 2 and negative 10 is the winning combination because 2 times negative 10 is negative 20, and if you add 2 and negative 10 together, you get negative 8. Okay, so first step, multiply 4 with negative 5 or whatever a and c are. Get that number, figure out what multiplies to that number, but adds up to this b value, the negative 8. And so far I got 2 and negative 10. The third step is that now you're going to split the middle term using these numbers. Okay, and so what you're going to do is rewrite the equation or the polynomial. You're going to do 4x squared, but instead of negative 8x, this is going to get split up into positive 2x and negative 10x. Okay, so these numbers tell you how to split up the negative 8x to proceed from here by grouping. Okay, so notice 2x minus 10x is still negative 8x, so we haven't like changed the problem at all. We've just rewritten it kind of in a different way. And then don't forget to bring down the last part, which is the minus 5. Okay, and so now we have 4 terms. And so if you remember from the previous skill, when we have 4 terms, sometimes factoring by grouping is the way to go. Okay, and so what we're going to do is look at the first two, take out a GCF. So I should write that step down. So first we split the middle term. We did that. 4 factor by grouping. So that's the last step. So first couple of terms, the GCF is 2x. And then I know that in here would have to be 2x plus 1. Hopefully at this point you're kind of getting pretty good at that and you just know what to fill in. If not, remember what you're going to end up doing is once you've identified the GCF, which is in this case 2x, you take the 4x squared, you divide it by 2x to get this first 2x. Then you take 2x and you divide it by 2x, and that's where you get positive 1. Okay? Next, you bring down the minus sign. And then from 10 and 5, the greatest common factor is 5. And again, what is left? I know that negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x, and I know negative 5 times positive 1 is negative 5. Okay, lots of ways that you can get here, but remember that these need to match. The 2x plus 1s need to match. And now that I've done that, my final answer is going to be 2x plus 1. Remember that this matching factor gets taken out in front as another GCF, and then what's remaining is going to be the 2x right here minus the 5 from the second half. And so this is your final answer. Okay, now unfortunately, yes, this is quite a bit of work. It does always work. There's a faster technique, but that requires some real intuition and being really quick about guessing and checking, which is another method that we can do later if we have time. But for now, this is a very good way to proceed. And now I'm going to go ahead and just do number 1 and follow this model that I did there. Same exact technique. Okay, so let me split. Let me see if I can squeeze it in over here. All right, so first I do 5 times 6. That's 30. And now, what multiplies to 30 but adds up to negative 13? Well, I got 1 and 30. That's not going to work. 2 and 15. Not going to work because I would have to make one of those negative to get the 13, but then I wouldn't get positive 30. Let's see. I also could do 3 and 10. 3 times 10, right, is going to be positive 30, but we want to be negative 13 when we add them up, so make both of these negative. So negative 3 times negative 10 works, and there's the winning combination. So I've done this part. I figured out my winning combo, which was step number 2. Now we split the middle term, so I'm going to rewrite this as 5v squared minus 3v minus 10v plus 6. And now we just factor by grouping. Okay, so from the first two, it looks like v is the GCF. And if you divide both of these terms by v, you get 5v minus 3. Bring down the minus sign. From 10 and 6, the GCF there is going to be 2. And again, either work backwards or divide, and you're going to get 5v minus 3 in here as well. These match. And so 5v minus 3 goes out in front. That's the GCF. And then what's left is v minus 2. And this is your final answer. Okay, and again, if you're not 100% sure if you did that right or not, you can check your answer. It's just multiplying this back out. So 5v times v is 5v squared. 5v times negative 2 is negative 10v. Negative 3 times v is negative 3v, and you can kind of see that it matches what we have up here. So that's not a coincidence. And then finally, negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And if you combine the middle terms, you do get the original equation. Okay? And so that's what we call split the middle term. This is for factoring trinomials with the lead coefficient greater than 1. Okay, so no more 1s. We got 5s, we got 4s, we got 2s in front. This is a good way to go. All right? All right, until next time.